Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic edition of the Practice Gratitude Success Show. And I have a wonderful guest here today, like I always do. And so before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and just say welcome to all the people who are here today. Christy, thank you, Christy, the Green of Green, the Queen of Green. Kelly, thank you so much for being here. Craig, thank you for coming. Len, thank you as usual for always being here. I really appreciate that. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna introduce Paula's what she sent me today. So it's really cool. It's a really cool bio. I don't want to skimp on this one because it's really cool. It starts off with a Zen-Rock energy. Paula D'Andrea, also known as the Reset Expert, renders accelerated results that provide clarity, focus, relief, and confidence for busy professionals entering their next gateway in life. Those who are ready for adventure as much as they are ready to reach their glass ceiling and acceptance of self. A natural-born leader and coach, Paula works with celebrities, industry executives, high-impact entrepreneurs and executives. Her path in fitness, wellness, and success and life coaching have earned her accolades on the Wall Street Journal, Forbes.com, KNBC, KTLA, and Telemundo. Those are TV stations here up in the LA area. Now, forever grateful for her acclaim, Paula measures her success to her clients who are finally able to love all their undesirable flaws and imperfections. I love that, which allow them to not only experience themselves as whole and complete, but to accept themselves fully. Paula, thank you. That's an awesome bio. I had to say that. Sometimes I'll go short on, but that's really awesome. But welcome, and thank you for coming here today, Paula. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely, Bob. I'm so happy to be here. I love your energy, and thanks everybody for joining us. It's nice to see so many people in the getting ready and chatting up. So thank you so much for reading the whole bio too. And I think that the most important part out of the whole thing is that last part, because my success comes from the success of someone who gets what I'm sharing with them, and when they really make a transformation, that's really my gratitude, and where I shine. So that's how I feel.
You know what I really like, Paul, is the fact you said that you get people to appreciate and love their flaws and imperfections, because that's the one thing that we sometimes look at and we think that we're not good enough. I get this, and I've noticed it among people. I notice it myself a lot throughout life. You say, oh, I can't because, and then you label you look at your imperfection, you look at your flaws, and then it kind of holds you down. So I like your approach to that. So how do you implement that with people?
So I'm taking that as an invitation. We're just going to dive right in, Bob. So
yeah, let's dive right in.
This is, that's where gratitude starts, because the thing about it is, it's true. The thing that holds people back is that they're looking at all of that negativity, all of that story that they have, all of that stuff, that lifetime of I can't, I could have, would have, should have, all of this type of stuff. And their focus becomes that, rather than when they're looking at themselves, when they're up here and where they could be, what their potential is, like how wide they can go, like how much if they just opened up, that is really out there for them. So it's a lot of that is just, starting to take a look at those, those things that are, constantly coming up for them, and saying, okay, what's really in your heart, what's in your body, what is it that, how do you really want to be? Like in your heart of hearts, when you think about, how you can see yourself really living your life, what is that? And then just really finding out what it is that got you stuck, and, taking that out and getting out there to rock your life, because there's so much to each person, and joy that can be had, and it's just wasted energy when you're just kind of like, swimming around in that lower vibration. So
how important is visualization and imagining yourself being the person that you want to be? How important is that?
That's everything, because that's actually how you're, if we look at ourselves as a whole and complete person, which is part of what you read in my bio, that is what I'm getting people to see is that when they are whole and complete, that means that they're using their whole heart, their whole mind, And in that, that's actually how your mind is going to take things in, is that it's the more that it can see a picture of what it is that you want, and see it like not as you in the picture, because then it would think that's what I already have. And what happens is that people conjure up all of those old pictures, all those old memories, and that's what they keep looking at. And so the mind is like, okay, and it keeps you there, and that's what keeps people in that position. When you can give it something new to look at, almost as if you're like in this like little version of you hovering above, and just kind of like drop in what you want and be able to sit back and just like look and say, yeah, that's it. And the more that you can envision that, the more that you can give as many cues to your mind, to your body as possible. You're using all of your senses and really bringing yourself to a state where you're really alive, where you really connect with that part of you, that spark that you were born with, that zest for living that you really have, that may have just, got disconnected somewhere along the way because of something bad that happened or some adversity that you've had.
Or somebody told us, or we learned, through school or conditioning, that we learned that maybe we're not that, we can't be there.
Yeah, that's part of it. I call it a BUI. I took a little riff on a DUI instead of BUI, and that's behaving under the influence. So that's all of those things that you did learn at a very early age that you just allowed yourself to thanks, that you've just allowed yourself to acclimate to. And it really is that simple. Things you learned from your family, from culture, from friends, from school, your education, and then as you get older, from your peers, from significant others, from workplaces, all those type of things. And the thing about it is that here's what I really want people to begin paying attention to. Feel that, because inside there's something going. You get that little nudge inside, whether it be just that tightening in your chest or your jaw or your shoulders or somewhere you feel, and it's like, it's not quite right. Listen to that, it's not quite right, and find out what's right for you.
I love that whole feeling thing. Just get into our heart and away from our head.
Yes, exactly. Because that could be a dangerous place to live. I mean, there's certain things that you have to filter during your day, and that's extremely useful. The thing is that when it's getting in your way, is that when you want to just pull back a little bit and say, what is it? The thing that I've found the most, Bob, is that people they're unwilling to take a look at some of these things, and they do manifest in your body. One of the things that I think I shared with you, I'm also a medical intuitive. And so one of the things when we look at the body from a conscious anatomy standpoint is that when you have unresolved issues, when you have things that you're unwilling to look at, what happens is they manifest in your body. They may show up as a migraine, as IBS, as indigestion, as sleepless nights, as weight fluctuations. There's all things, and they're all trying to get your attention and say, hey, if it's something that's, primarily in the front of the body, it's something you've looked at, but you've really pushed away. And when there's those things that are behind, a pain in the upper back or lower back, they're generally things that you really are not willing to look at up until this point.
They're warning signs.
Yeah, exactly. They are, and the thing about it is that there's so many good things. When I say, look at your flaws and imperfections, they aren't flaws and imperfections. They're who you are. So you made a mistake. So what? That was one of the most powerful things one of my coaches gave to me. It was just shrug your shoulders and say, so what? And it was like this ton of bricks came off my shoulders because no one had ever said that to me before. And when I took it in, it was like, wow, yeah, so what?
What a release.
It's exactly, and it's one of the simplest releases that you can have. And each time that you have one of these releases, that a little aha, an insight, that's really what gratitude is about, and that's what a reset is. That gives you another opportunity to let go of one of those layers for you to really step into who you are, and just keep rocking up that vibe every single day and letting more of you come to light.
I love that. I love that. And do you earlier you said stay in that high vibration. stay in that high vibration. And so that would be things like love, joy, gratitude, or what else? What are you thinking for the higher vibrations?
Definitely peace, courage, acceptance. The lower vibrations are all of those,
Anger, shame.
yeah, sure. The major emotions. And you know what? Hey, here's the thing: is I wouldn't ever discredit somebody for having that. I've been through I've had a lot of adversity. I've had losses in my life, and you know what? You have to go through that. However, you also want to see, what else, what's another outcome that I have? This is where I am right now. I want to honor myself and feel it fully. And I think that's one of the biggest things too, Bob, is that people don't feel it fully. They go, oh, okay, that's enough. Like, I should be done with this. I should be over it. They get angry at themselves for being in that place, which is, almost absurdity. It's like, perfect example. I lost my sister years ago, and there was no I didn't know how long it was going to take to process it, and I just gave myself that room. And of course, I had coaching and other things that I sought out to help me move forward. And that's the big thing, is being able to have something to help you move forward. Is that you may not have that clarity, especially when you're in the thick of something. If you just lost your job, a divorce, you're having problems with your weight, you're really successful and you can't understand why you can't lose 30 pounds. That's very frustrating for someone who's a high achiever.
Right.
Those are exactly the type of people that I work with, and they're like, from outward appearances, from materialistic viewpoint, they've got it going on, they're really rocking it, and then inside there's this hot mess that they just haven't been able to resolve. And that's very common. And most common for a lot of people that that become clients. So
how do you get somebody, like in that particular example right there, how do you bring somebody from that point to, what would you do? Would you have them lose weight, or would you just have them accept themselves?
You know what? One of the keys to that, Bob, is, and I have years of observation. Also, that I'm a former fitness trainer, and I actually worked specifically as I was getting my education and my certification in fitness training. I was working in a weight loss clinic. And so what I found is someone to be able to lose weight, it had way more to do with, really just the physicality of it. So it's really being able to get into a position where someone is able to, express their emotion. Probably those things that they've squashed down that I was speaking about earlier, that they haven't allowed themselves to look at, that are just lingering in the background, literally in your back somewhere, lower back, legs, neck, anything like that, front of the body. There are all these issues that manifest themselves because that expression never got a chance to fully come alive. Someone was told for whatever reason to squash it. You shouldn't feel that way. When they were younger, tired of you crying, be quiet. All of these type of things that they didn't come up and voice what it was that they were feeling. So what happens? Those cycles become repeated. And so it's like looking at that and saying, okay, where is your voice? Let that expression out, and be able to continue to do that, to get rid of years of pent up issues and just be dealing with a day to day. It's a lot easier to be in that space than keep on having all of these mountains of emotions and issues to deal with, because it just gets tiring.
It's taking that load of bricks off your back, isn't it?
Yes. That's like that so what type of thing. And it really is. It gives people that chance to just breathe, to let their body just breathe and start to open up, because it's taking up so much energy. And that's a big thing too, Bob, is that, we are energy. And I don't think people realize that we're also comprised of systems. It isn't just this body that we're in. There's so much that, that is coming into this condensed space that is a 5-6 frame, or 5'10", or whatever it might be, and whatever shape and size that you are, there's a lot that's contained in there. And the more that you're able to commune with that, the better off you're going to be. I always say to people, you're willing to talk to your pets, talk to your plants, speak to other people with love. Do that for yourself. Start to have a dialogue with your heart, with your body, with your brain, and be able to just process some of these things and start to just let them go. There's certain things that are going to just like that. You'll all of a sudden be like, oh, wow. And it just disappears. I've seen people look years younger, like so much stress leaves their body, leaves their expression, everything. It's amazing when someone makes that connection, and it's really a fun thing to experience and be part of.
That's cool. That's, I mean, 'cause it's probably one of the biggest things is the stress that people have, the anxiety of they have themselves, and they just hold that stuff in.
Exactly. And that is what, there is that, we can look at many people who speak about this. Deepak Chopra, for one, he's probably one of the foremost. Carolyn Mace, who was one of my, years ago, getting into the fitness world. I had bought her Conscious Anatomy series, and starting to understand that what role that plays for somebody in their life, and being able to make that connection, because there's so much that gets taken for granted. People get up every day and they're like, whatever, they have low energy, they have this ache, this pain, and whatever. And it's really, again, being able to have that, have a relationship with yourself first, and that means every part of yourself.
Love yourself, and stop putting 120 chemicals on your body every single time when you wake up in the morning. All the toxic things that we put on, we don't even realize it, but we're doing it to ourselves a lot.
And also toxic environment too. What do you have in your space? Like, what kind of products are you using, and so forth.
Right. And people.
I
make sure you
conversation on that a couple of years ago with Fran Drescher. I don't know if you remember her from The Nanny. She was
right.
Yeah, she was speaking at that I was at, and she had gotten cancer, and so her, she has a whole dynamics on that about how to really protect yourself with your environment, and it's good information. Very, very true. It is how you nourish yourself, too, Bob. And again, I'm always pointing to the heart, the mind, and the body. They work in unison. And that's really what you want, is you want to be in harmony. I can say this, just jokingly, but also really truthfully, with my background, if you want balance, stand on one leg. Practice that. That's actually is like a really great for your body too, and as you go through a way to support yourself. But really, for your dimensions to come into play, it's really about having harmony and being able to really move your energy to be able to experience things as they come in, and then let them go as quickly. And I think that that's the exchange that people are, it would be best for them to start to even out, is that take something in and let it go. So the receiving and the release, and having that an easier process, rather than taking something in. And we have a tendency to hang on to negative emotions, right? Most people that's what they're doing. And it's like they have 5 negatives for one joy. And that really isn't the case. When they really get in touch, they'll find that there's all of these joys going, pick me, let me have this experience. Let me
love
give it to you. And it's, when you think about it, that you're, when you laugh, is that just even this little banter we have here. And even when you smile, feel the physiology that's going on in your body, how good that feels. It opens everything up. Triggering the same is something like being angry. It closes everything in. You can feel everything in your face and your body tighten up. And it is the same. I have one of my former coaches too, Bob. He just put this so eloquently too. Is that your emotions are coming up in this binary. And so it gets to a point is that when they split, you get to choose bliss or piss. And it's one or the other. And it really is true. And it's also, you know, just kind of reminding people again, you have a choice. Even though you've been a certain way for a certain time, even though you have this story, you're tied into this, thinking that things should be this way, allow somebody to step in for you and give you a different perspective, to be able to look at it with you really objectively. That's the clarity that that I speak about. And even when I say confidence, confidence, I think, is really, it's a knowing that you have is even stronger than confidence. And that's what I really like people to get to, that space where they know. Because when you're able to get that acknowledgement of something that happened before, that you're holding a resentment, that you are dealing with abandonment, that you have whatever it is that you've been hanging on to that happened to you at an earlier point. It could have been yesterday, it could have been last week, it could have been 10 years ago, 20 years ago or more, but you're still holding it. And once you're able to let it just release and go, oh, that's really what it was, that's when you step into the other side, when you get into that space of having more peace for yourself. And I'll tell you, from all the people that I've ever had the pleasure of working through with, peace of mind is one of the greatest blessings ever. It's more valuable than anything. You just can't even put a price on it, because when somebody is in so much emotional and physical pain, that is the thing that really just changes their life.
It'll manifest other things like sicknesses, cancers, heart attacks, strokes, those kind of things. When you pent that stuff inside of you, it's all going to manifest in some way. It's going to come out in some way. So yeah, I agree. Peace of mind. What could be better than peace of mind and have that knowing, that confidence that no matter what happens, you can take away all your money, everything, but if you have that knowing, you're going to be fine no matter what, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It's kind of like like we're all the biggest loser. Like we're all going to be on that show, and it is like losing 100 pounds. And I've actually worked with people who have lost 100 pounds. A whole new identity emerges. The connection that you have with yourself, the connection that you have with other people, your view on life changes, because you allow yourself to literally shed the emotion, the fear, the doubt, the sadness, the grief, whatever it is that is at that root cause of keeping you at a space of less energy, of sleepless nights, of weight fluctuations, of irritability, feeling stressed all the time. All of those things, they go away. And then again, you can just really open up and keep expanding into your potential. And that potential is really, how you want your life to be, how you want to get out there.
Before we run out of time, Craig asked a question there. He says, how do you identify what has you stuck? If you don't pinpoint, you can't pinpoint it yourself, but you know there's something. How do you identify that?
I welcome to come for a reset section. That is really, I would say the best way to do it, if you aren't getting it on your own, definitely, seek someone out who can give you that objectivity, who allows you to do. One of the biggest things that a lot of my clients, that we share together is we do a lot of writing. I would say keep a journal, and I'm sure you're probably a big, fan of this too, Bob, is to keep a gratitude journal. One is when keeping a gratitude journal is to be able to look at these things. And I would also say to Craig, is that look at the things that are troubling you. What are your challenges? That will be when you're in gratitude for that and you say, okay, I see this in front of me. I'm really struggling with this. You're acknowledging it. And that is number one, is to be able to acknowledge it. To move further ahead with it, I would say definitely, get a coach, or someone in that is able to help you get free of where you're stuck.
A lot of people, I think a lot of people
And
believe.
And I'm sorry, Bob. And one other thing too is just for, for everything we're talking a lot about the heart, the mind, and the body. And I would also encourage you to, go to youremotionalreset.com. And in there, one of the first places to get out of a lot of this is to be able to allow your body and your mind to relax. And when you do that, more things are allowed to come to the surface. And again, there's certain things that are just going to kind of like fly right out, and you're like, oh, I don't need that anymore. Wow. It's just because you're in your day-to-day. You aren't giving yourself that time to just, sit back and relax. And I promise that you'll be more relaxed than you've been in a really long time. Give yourself the 20 minutes, go and download that and really, sit with it and be able to feel your body and your mind just open up. The more that you let your body, your mind, and your heart open up, the more the answers. When people say the answers are inside, they are. Mm-hmm. There's a wealth of information in your mind and your body. They just need an outlet. And right now, because of the, whatever the demands of your day are, from your family, from your work, whatever it is that goes on in your life, just give yourself a little time out to sit back and relax and be able to do that. You're really going to thank yourself for giving yourself that time and start to let some of those easier things surface.
Great. So is that the website now, youremotionalreset.com? Is that your website?
Youremotionalreset.com, yes.
Okay. Is there any other way that people can get a hold? Is that the best way for people to get a hold of you, Paula?
That is, if someone wants to contact me directly, Paula at pauladandrea.com. And if they wanted to find out more about my coaching, that would be a good way to do it. And but at youremotionalreset.com, I'm offering that free gift of being able to give yourself a way to really experience a guided meditation that will allow your body and your mind to relax and give you your first reset of relieving all of that stress that you have in your life. And it is one of the best gifts that I could give anyone.
That's awesome. Yeah, I hope people take advantage of that. So yeah, so we are just about out of time here, Paula, but I mean, I'd love to have you come back on again. We'll talk about this afterwards because we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're kind of like getting in that little area. There is so much to it, Bob, and I thank you so much for allowing me to, give as much information as I did today. It was really thank you for the guidance and just letting all of that come up. And just these are like the first steps for someone to start, going, oh yeah. And this is exactly why we do this. So people can have those little triggers that say, yes. And that's your first step is that you're ready. Is it just, if you're saying yes, just let it happen. Just be.
I love that, Paula. It sounds simple, but it really is. It should be simple. It should be fun.
And I will share this too, Bob. Is that this? I want everyone to know is that I've been through it. I have done this. I'm on the other side, and it's why I want to share this with you. I've spent the time in that lower paradigm for a bit. I keep adding on to my education and my knowledge and just letting more of me come to light every day. And this is my gift. I'm finally standing, in my higher power, and I want to share that with as many people as possible because it really is a great way to live your life. And, that is awesome. And as I say, rock your life.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back on again because I was going to start off with asking you more about yourself, but I knew we weren't going to have much time to do that, so that's what we kind of told, right? But we'll get you back and we'll start from the beginning, and so you can share more of your gift with us, everybody. But so later on, before we go, lunch with Len Mooney is here. He said he also ordered your deal off your website. But he's got a show called Lunch with Len. It's on every day at 11:30 Pacific time. So check that out. Terry, Happiness Hunter, has an event going on today. Hopefully she can share it on my Facebook wall so people can know about it. And then tomorrow I have another angel reader, Lisa Jo Davis, who was on here before. She's going to come back on and share some really cool stuff. So that's it for today, guys. Thank everybody for coming. Do you have any last word you want to say, Paula, before we get out of here?
You know, I'm seeing a lot of these comments come up, and I want to say, first of all, thank you, Bob, for having me here, allowing me to, you know, just share this information, and everybody who is in the chat that has been taking it in. Thank you so much for receiving it, and really, you know, reset, rock your life, let go of all that stress, and just be who you were born to be.
Love it. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you, Bob.
We'll talk to you later. And I love that painting you got back up there. It's cool.
Thanks so much.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.